Hey guys, welcome back to the live stream on Wednesdays. Excuse me, on YouTube. You guys, as always, remember you can ask me anything you want, and I'll do my best to answer all your questions on cameras, gear, film, darkroom, whatever I can answer or think I can help you with. Just let me know. Welcome, Leighton. Good evening. In some certain news, oh wait, let me bring some stuff before I start. Sorry for the phone beep. I'll turn the volume off. Okay, so first thing, finally got the Acros 100 for the giveaway. It's taken forever for the film to come in because I ordered some other stuff and it took a while. So this will be shipping as soon as possible, considering that I can only make it to the post office on Saturday and I'm not in town this weekend or next. So maybe I'll try to do a quick run during the week at some point. But that's come in. I'm not shooting any of this. It's going all to you guys that participated on that video giveaway. Second thing that came in, T-Max 3200. 10 rolls I ordered to test it out. I'm really curious to see how it behaves. I've never shot this film before when it was available, and very curious to see. I was surprised to see the expire date is basically a year from now, but I guess being a fast or ultra fast speed, it won't last too long. But I'll shoot it pretty fast. I got a wedding in like 10 days, and I'll probably shoot a few rolls there just to see how it works. Or maybe I'll shoot the whole event. I'm going a weekend to Switzerland, so I'll shoot the whole weekend with this and see how it works and give you guys my opinion. I'm doing 10 rolls, so that's going to be probably maybe the last time I buy this film. I'm not a big 3200 guy. Probably will shoot it mostly at 1600 and develop normal. And then in other updates, I finally shot on 11x14 this weekend. There'll be a video about it. I got a video prepping all the gear. I got a video shooting at least one of the days. And I will make a video in developing and results. So probably a little series of shooting 11x14. I don't want to make it all one video because it's going to be too long. And I think there's a lot to talk about it from what I've learned of using such a big format and shooting an event that I'm not familiar with. But we'll see. Leighton says, my friend loves it, prefers it over Delta 3200 medium format. I will try it in 35 at some point. I don't like 3200 and 35, just too much grain. That's my concern. I'm a grain person. I like a bit of grain, but not too much grain. So we'll see. It's a wedding photography, and I'm not the official photographer. So whatever I come out with will be fine for the event. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. And yeah, the 11x14 went well. I was supposed to be, I wanted to shoot 25 shots, which is exactly all the film I have. One box of HP5. What happened is the event I went to was a surf competition and things didn't go as I wanted them on Saturday. So I couldn't make more than 13 shots. So I developed 8 so far. 2 of them have light leaks, which is a huge bummer because they were the most important people I feel in the event, the organizer and a major surfer that was there. Good thing is I took notes, so I know which film holder is the one with light leaks, and I won't be using it, at least for now. But yeah, 6 shots worked out fine. I have a few shots that I've shared on Instagram. Their phone scans, don't take it as the end result. It's just me being too eager to share. But yeah, it worked out fine. Hey, A Green and Andrew, hello. Dan, nice to see you. Checking in while I'm developing some film. I've been actually thinking of doing live streams while I do stand development. As it's usually an hour that you sit waiting, I thought maybe I could start doing that. Develop a roll of film in stand development each live stream, like, you know, different film exposed different ways, and maybe share it. But that would be when I can do it in the darkroom. Someone told me the other day that this live stream is way too geeky, considering that it's just me looking like a zombie in front of this painting. Hope to change it to the darkroom soon, and I can do it in my studio while I do other things like flatten prints, which I need to ship stuff to people that are waiting. But yeah, so far, this is what you guys are gonna get. I don't have internet at the studio, and I don't know when I will be able to get it. But yeah, it's been an interesting weekend shooting lots of large format. This next weekend, I will be shooting some more large format. Actually, maybe I'll do an unboxing live, guys. I haven't even opened the box yet, but let me see. I'm gonna go get something very quickly. Okay, so this package actually looks like it's a bunch of drugs. Has what's gonna be the film for this weekend. And I know it's gonna look pretty crazy. Let me see if I can show you guys a better look of what's in here. I know it's gonna look pretty crazy because it kind of is, but I'm really excited about this. So let's see how that goes. It's wrapped many times to not get broken. Let's see. Let me see if I can show you guys. Sorry for the noise. More wrap. Okay, here it is. This is 8x10 film from Fomapan, 5 boxes with 50 sheets each, so 250 sheets that I'm shooting this weekend. And it might sound crazy, but, and it actually kind of is, but it's part of a project. My idea is to shoot 250, let me put this back to normal. Let me see if I can see, oh, you guys don't want to miss that picture of the painting. Basically, the idea is to shoot 250 sheets of film this weekend on Saturday. I'm going to be doing 100 portraits on 8x10. And hopefully, the idea is to shoot 2 shots per person. So that's why there's 200 sheets. So that would be 200 sheets. And then there's 50 just in case, because I'm sure that I'll remove the wrong dark slide, or I'll load the film the wrong way, or I'll remove the dark side and the film will pop out. That's happened before. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. The theme of the shots are going to be very much in the line I've been doing on Instagram. So like white background, Avedon style, 8x10, kind of like maybe head and shoulders, maybe, you know, the top third of the body, like hips up. So we'll see how it goes. I'm very excited. It's a photography festival in Barcelona in Spain. So I'll be driving there on Friday, shooting Saturday, and driving back on Sunday. So it's going to be a very long weekend in terms of energy, and very excited, very, very excited. So you guys will see hopefully some behind the scenes of shooting this stuff. But yeah, depends if I have hands to record something, probably a few stories on Instagram and stuff like that. But I'll share as much as I can while I'm there and show you guys more of what's happening at the festival. Trying to make my light look a little better with a film amount. But yeah, so that's what's going to be happening. PJ Jesus, nice to see you. He's seen it. PJ's in Instagram, Twitter. I posted the picture of the film. And yeah, that's what it's going to happen. If you guys are ever around Spain, let me know and I'll be happy to shoot some portraits in large format. I've been shooting some this weekend and I will be shooting more next weekend. And hopefully we'll start doing some videos on my advice when shooting large format portraits. Not that I think I'm the best at it, but I have learned a way to shoot pretty fast. Gotten pretty, efficient at it. Interesting. Sounds like a project for a weekend. Plenty of work afterwards, though. Yeah, the thing is, of course, shooting so much 8x10 film, I'm going to be developing in 5 sheets each time. I only have 1 drum, so I'm going to see if I can do like 10 sheets every hour. If I dry the drum pretty fast and I reload and stuff. So my idea is going to take around 10 sheets an hour, 250, so 25 hours to develop. Probably divided in 3 days of darkroom work, 3 full days. And from there will be contact printing. The idea is these portraits will be taken for free, so everyone will get their shot for free. And then the contact prints will be offered as something they can buy. But of course, each contact print is going to be different. So there's going to be 100-ish contact prints. Yeah, Layden, I use a hair dryer in my studio in the darkroom. What I do to dry my drum fast is first I wipe it up with a microfiber towel. So I remove the biggest amount of water. And then second, I use a dehumidifier in my darkroom, which is always on while I'm there. And then I leave it on when I leave. And whenever it fills up, that's good enough because it dries out the room. And what I use it is I put the drum upside down on top of the dehumidifier, which is throwing air up. And that dries the tanks in like 5 minutes, maybe. And it doesn't involve a lot of heat, which is what hair dryer I always get concerned. So yeah, I use microfiber towel or whatever to dry it first, and then I dry it with a dehumidifier. What I am going to do is I have a friend that has a second drum, so maybe I can get a loan on the drum for a while and develop 10 sheets in an hour without having to consider drying so much, which will make it easier. And if it's pretty efficient, I might start doing the contact prints at the same time. The thing is I have to hang, unhang, dry, load, develop, and make contact prints. So maybe contact prints won't be a priority while I'm developing. I will probably start doing them in RC paper just to see how they look. And from there, edit down to doing contact prints in fiber-based so I can ship to whoever wants them. They'll be on my website. I have a website that I prepared, and I will be sharing it once the event has happened so people can pre-order or order their shot. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening next weekend. And I'll be sharing the festival, which has a bunch of stuff. Layton says, yes, need to be careful with heat on plastic drums. Reels should be okay to at least C41 temperatures, but plastics is plastic. Dehumidifier are great devices. Yeah, I had a dehumidifier from my previous darkroom that was sort of underwater and had a lot of humidity. And now I keep it in this one. It has a 5-liter container. So basically when I finish using my darkroom, I empty it and I leave it overnight, and the next day it's full and the darkroom's dry as could be. So that's always good for fungus or paper or drums and stuff to be dry. Hey, Howland, nice to see you. Layton says, I have one used when the upstairs bathroom leaked into my darkroom. Yeah, they're pretty cheap machines. They're not that expensive, and they don't take a lot of electricity. So a dehumidifier will use around what a light bulb will use. So I keep it on like probably 20 hours a week on, so it dries down my darkroom. Also keeps it nice and warm because the air kind of warms up during winter. It's not humid. And during summer, I use it a little bit less because it does warm up. I use the vents a bit more. Also, for those who are subscribed to the Patreon, I uploaded a quick video, a video on my 4x5 architecture case. I did an outing, but I screwed up, so that won't be going live, maybe to share how bad it was. But yeah, hopefully I'll be getting out there and shooting more now that I have the case ready and the weather's getting much nicer. I might be doing some 8x10 architecture too, as I've been very fond of the format these last few weeks. How would you say? Just take out my respirator. I'm gonna do selenium toning this weekend. That doesn't sound good. Nathan says, mine's about 15 years old now. Started on my boat originally. Yeah, they last forever. So yeah, dehumidifier is a great option, especially if you live in a humid place. Here, depending on where you are, my darkroom's not in a humid place, but it used to be. So it's a good idea for anything, drying your darkroom, drying prints, drying bathroom clothes, anything like that, or boats, like you said. House says, what do you think about selenium toning warm tone papers? Well, I've never tested the warming toning warm tone. I've only used selenium, I think I said it last time, once, and it was just because I was kind of like testing the water to see how it was, and I didn't wait for the tone to change. When I've seen major toning, at least on certain toners, I don't know, I don't think it was selenium, it's brought out like some reddish ochre tones, which I'm not so fond of. So I can't say that I would do it for the tone. I would do it more just for, you know, conserving the print, for it to stay longer. I'm not making any sense right now, but I would just selenium, you know, wash to kind of archive the print. I should be getting back as soon as possible on that, and I want to offer it as an option when I ship prints, is to do selenium toning. But so far, I'm still not at that stage. I'm still at the stage of finishing the prints, flattening them, and then I'll start maybe getting some and throwing them in selenium and seeing what happens. But considering that I still have to flatten hundreds of prints, I actually try to do this this live stream on my phone at the darkroom, but it's a totally different URL, and I don't know how I can let you guys know ahead of time, because these live streams I set up like a week, 2 weeks before, and it just comes on whenever it's happening. But maybe I'll try to do it on my phone at the same time and flatten them my prints while we're live, because it takes forever to do that. Layton says wear gloves, which of course you have to, and something for your breathing and have a lot of air around you. Layton says, I normally take a work print, cut it up into, and put strips in the toner and compare to see what the tone they tone like. That's a good idea. Andrea, hi. Yeah, I've said it, I think I said it last week, but what I heard is that you keep one print out of the selenium tone and then you start putting them in and seeing how much you want to keep it in. I've never done it, so I haven't seen a difference, but I would like to see what it looks like. Because a change in tone, I kind of like the tone you have actually after warm tone. So the paper, so I don't need, or I haven't thought I needed to change any tones, but maybe it improves the print. I know a lot of people that think so. So yeah, any other questions or things? There's something I haven't said in the news, which I don't know if I should make a video or not, but it's has to do with Ilford and the pricing. I was checking Ilford's pricing on Monday after I shot the 11x14 box, which I have had since summer 2017, so almost a year. I bought it for $199, which is $8 a shot, which is expensive, but it's not that bad considering how huge the film is compared to other brands, or basically Kodak, because it's the only one that does ultra large format apart from Ilford. But now Ilford is selling, or B&H is selling Ilford 11 by 14, which they always have in stock, or at least every time I've looked, for $250. And that's a $50 increase. That's a 25% bump on pricing. And I know we're all very fond of Ilford and keeping film in the market and making custom cuts, and that I'm really appreciate. But I'm not very happy with a 25% increase in basically summer 2017 to summer 2018. I've seen it on 8x10 gone up $20 too, which from 109 to 129. I've seen it on cans of film, like bulk loading. I've seen it on 4x5. I've seen it on medium format. So, I mean, I understand a 2, 3, 4% increase from one year to the next, but a 25 increase is starting to be a little too much for me to understand. If there's any hidden reasons why, I would love to know, but it's making me pretty upset. Andrew Smale says, hi, Nico, just got a Jobo CPP2 with some 2500 series tanks, but someone told me 1500 series tanks use less chemicals. Do you know how much less? Andrew, they do use less chemicals. I use the 2500 series because I've always used those. Don't ask me why. I think because I was doing 4x5 film, and that's the tank you need for 4x5. But depending on the tank, it uses different amounts of chemistry. But the 1500 does use less. How much less? We would have to go to Jobo and see what we find here. Jobo USA. Let me see about Jobo USA, what it says. 1500. It doesn't say the amount of chemistry it will use. I do have somewhere the paper for it, but I don't know if it's here right now. User profile. Okay, so this is a huge thing. Jobo had a bunch of PDFs back in the day. I have a ton in storage on a Dropbox or something like that. But this is a great place to start. But yeah, it does use less, but I wouldn't recommend buying the 1500 just for that. I would keep the 2500. With the CPP2, you will need the small wheels, the ones that are pretty flat. Well, the wheels don't have any arms, because if you look at those Jobo little wheels that go on the bed of the tank or the bath, there's ones that are flat, just the wheels, so just like a circle. Let me just pop this open. So there's one that's just like that, a circle. That's the one you need for the 2500 and the expert tanks. And for the 1500, no, wait, no, the expert tanks use a different one. The 1500 uses a little arm, and then the wheel goes like this because it needs to close so it's higher. And then for the expert, it's the same thing the other way around, which is pretty smart. Because if the CPP2, you need that. Same with the CPP3 and the CPA2 and 3. Or there was CPA3? No, there was CPA2. But I can't tell you how much less. I wouldn't invest on new tanks if you already have them. Hi, Jacob. Nice to see you here. Andrea says, I have a strange question. It's possible doing wet scanning with Epson V370 flatbed scanner online. I only got confusing things about this process. Well, first, let me check which Epson that is. V37. Is it possible to do wet? I mean, I don't think it's not possible. You could get a piece of glass and raise it with some coins or something like that, and add the wet mount and the Mylar on top, and you can probably do wet scanning. I do know that there's this guy called Mike. Okay, let's see, Epson wet mount Mike. Let me see if I can find. There was this guy that had it, and his name was Mike, but I can't remember. where he could be. I'll find it. I'll find it, and I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it should be possible. I mean, you just have to find the height. So I'm saying coins because coins are very easy to find. So you can use like 1 penny or 2 pennies stacked up, or maybe a quarter or a dime. And each one has a different thickness, so you can put your glass and scan wet mounting. But it should be possible. I actually have the wet mounting thing for the Epson. I have the fluid, I have everything, and I've never done it because I always get too concerned about how to do it. Mike Fraser, PJ De Jesus, thank you for that. Mike Fraser had, let me see, Epson, maybe his website's dead. I can't find his website. Scanning tutorial, Mike Fraser. There's a scanning tutorial here. But that's just a scanning. No, I don't think this is him. I'll figure it out if not. Andrew says, thanks, Nico. That's just what I wanted to know. I appreciate the answer. Andrew, if you have any doubts about it, you have not only the resources, but don't hesitate to ask Cat Labs of JP. They have all the information about Jobo, even more than Jobo itself nowadays, and extremely helpful. I know a lot of people have issues with Cat Labs, but I've always had more than a great experience, and I've never actually been their client, so I highly recommend them. House says, I noticed that a lot of Schneider lenses on eBay have bubbles between the elements. Do you know what they are and how they affect the lens? Well, basically what happens with Schneider lenses is what they call Schneideritis or something like it, probably pronouncing it wrong. And it is that the inside paint of the lens, so basically the lens has the glass elements, and the inside of the metallic housing is painted matte black for reflections and whatnot. And that part of it will bubble. And there's no issue when you shoot. If it's not in the glass, it's fine. So it's perfectly normal. I have a bunch of lenses that have that. It's not a big concern. It's not a big, issue. Sometimes they sell a little cheaper because of that, but don't be concerned with it. I've never had problems so far. There are some Schneider lenses that had an issue with fogging between the elements, and that was mostly with the Schneider 80mm XL, the Super Angulon, and the early versions of it did have that. I think even some of the 110mm did that too. So yeah, but it's basically on the sides of the lens mount. So it's like the housing has it, not between the lenses properly. So it's not fungus, it's not de-cementing or separation of the glass being coming unstuck. It's just basically that. So don't be too concerned. If you are thinking about it, send me the eBay link on a few lenses that you're thinking about getting, and I'll let you know. Lazen says, I thought it might be balsam separation, instant death. Well, actually, something I have to say about that, I've had two or three lenses in my lifetime as a photographer that had balsam separation, and the three lenses performed perfectly. One is a 90mm Angulon that I have on the Super, the travel wide, and it looks pretty bad. You can like see a rainbow when you move the lens, and it shoots fine. I've enlarged and it looks fine. Another one was 180mm on a Mamiya RZ, performed fine, and it was pretty obvious. And the third one, it was a Rolleiflex, and it performed pretty good too. So I think issues with lenses, of course, are not a good thing when you're buying them. But if you have a lens that suddenly has it or you didn't realize and you can't return, give it a try, shoot it. You will find that fog is much worse, like fogging of the lenses, haze inside the lens, because it will bring contrast super low, so it'll look just like bad. I have a lens that has it, and the results are just super soft and don't look very good. But yeah, I've found that most lenses do really well considering being perfect or not perfect. Actually, you guys probably can't see it, but this 110 from my Mamiya RZ has a ton of stuff inside. I don't know if you guys can see through it. If I put something white, maybe. So if you look through it, it has a bunch of little black pieces of paint and stuff. And this lens performs perfectly, no issues, at least that I can see when I enlarge and when I scan. Let me see, I'm running out of battery on my lights. Yeah, I'm running out of battery on the lights. But yeah, just check it out and test it out if you can. But if it's the little bubbles on the inside of the lens mount, it should be fine. House says, thank you for the answer. It was a weird when I see people use the lens with the bubbles normally. Yeah, it's a lot of people give it a lot of, thing about it, but it's usually fine. And actually Snyder came to accomplish that it was an issue with their paint or something and started changing their paint. So, but it happens. Also, some Fuji lenses have it. I've never seen rod and stock lenses with it, but I'm sure some probably have it at some point. But yeah, Andrea, you're welcome for your answer. I would test it out, but you gotta get probably anti-Newton glass maybe to make it better, but should try it. There's the Better Scanning website, Andrea, that works. They sell pretty good stuff online, and that should work. Leighton says, haze or fungus is to be avoided, but if it does happen, you can get them sorted. Balsam separation cannot be fixed. The larger the front element, the less small spot effect. Anyway, balsam separation still can be fixed by a few people. I think there's a few people in the world that still remove they boil the glass, they remove the Canadian balsam, which I think is what it's called, and they re-cement it. But it's a very expensive operation and not to be done unless your lens is worth it or has some sentimental value. Guys, I'm running out of light here, so let me just grab a quick battery. And change the battery. Just I use these cheap LED lights and I put a battery on that looks like it's running out. So let's go for bigger battery. There we go. And now I'm in the sunny day with my film tower. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. But yeah, so that's what I've had with lenses. I've even had lenses that have nicks and chips broken on the corners and no big issue. I'm sure if you stop it down and you point at the sun, you might get some weird flares and stuff like that. I have a 17 millimeter Canon FD lens that flares tremendously, which for photography I can understand it's not something you're looking for, but for video it's pretty fun to use. I've used it on a few videos that have never seen the light of day, mostly because it's been family stuff, because I found 17 to be way too wide for my legging. But it's really fun because the moment you turn the lens, it just flares. But if you have a nick or a chip on the front element, they sometimes recommend paint it with a bit of black paint so it won't flare and it won't affect the image. If you guys want to see something interesting in those terms, there's a lens called Hypergon, and it's spelled Hypergon. Gergon. And it comes with what they call a star. And this lens basically is so wide. And I mean, it's a 90 millimeter that will cover 11 by 14. So it's an extremely wide lens. It sees something like 180 degrees or 179 degrees. It's crazy that it would have a very strong fall off on the outside. So it would come with a little arm with like a flower that would basically go in the front of the lens, and it would make that fall off to be like, you know, how do you say, fixed with this. So it was like a center filter, but it was a flower or like a star. And it's pretty amazing that that would be in front of the lens and you would not see it on your results. You would only see that it would darken the inside and not the outside. So yeah, if you want to check it out, those lenses are amazing. Hypergon with a flower. They're like little bubble lenses. Let's see if we can see one with a star. Here, let me just share that with you guys for those that can open. And this would go in the front of the lens and it would not look crazy. Hypergon, oh, it won't let me pop. Yeah, there it goes. Super wide lens. If you ever have one that you want to share, I'd be more than happy to use it. They're really hard to come by. Jacob says, in the former times, many of the lenses, even made by lights, like have a lot of bubbles in the glass. It doesn't affect the lens quality at all. On the contrary, it was a sign of optical quality. I have heard that before, that the lenses back in the day had bubbles inside the glass, and they were meant to be good, especially the old large format lenses like Hellier, Voigtlander, stuff like that. They would have bubbles, and it wasn't a bad thing. It was basically what you're saying. So that's also a thing to know. Thank you for that, Jacob. PJ, random question for you guys. What is your first ever camera? So my first ever camera was, no, not Cosina, a Chinon. I don't know the model though. I still have it somewhere. Chinon camera. It came with like a 51.4 or something like that. Is it still running? No. My Chinon was probably one of these CE4. No, that's too modern. Something like this. Chinon SLR, something like it. It was really clunky and it had a 51.4, which was nice. The meter was halfway dead. I never understood it. Probably would understand it nowadays. But that was my first camera. First real camera that I got that I wanted to get was a Nikon F80 N80. It was F80 in Europe and N80 in the States. Jacob says, I have some of such lens as an example, Ector 7.3 centimeters. Nice, that's the bubble in the lens. That's what Jacob's referring to. Michael says, my first film camera ever was a Nikon FM2, still have it, awesome camera. House says, mine is a Canon T50 with a 51.4 FD lens. Nice one. Lazen says, Praktica BC200, I think was not a great machine. And Andrew says, some random Canon 50 rangefinder, don't remember model. Now I've got a question for you guys. If there would be a camera that you would never get rid of, which one would it be? Because, I mean, we all have cameras we want to buy. We've got cameras we've bought and sold and regret. But what camera would it be that you would never sell that you have? Or you hadn't sold and you wouldn't sell if you had it again? Like one that you wouldn't mind taking for the rest of your life around and shooting with it and all that. Because I think that's a fun question, because we all start with random cameras just to get triggered, but the ones that you would keep, that you found like your soulmate and you would take anywhere for all the time. Mine's actually here, if I'm not wrong. Well, it's not exactly this one, but it's this one. Mine's the Leica M2. And I know everyone has their issues about Leica and whatnot, but this camera is the one that made me shoot the most. It's the one that's made me have the most fun, especially with family. And I would never sell this one. No reason, especially. I mean, it wasn't very expensive, so it's not a matter of money selling it or not. It's a matter that it was so much fun. I have most of my family pictures taken on this. And it's such an easy camera. It doesn't get in the way. And to me, the biggest issue with certain cameras is, do they get in the way of your shooting or don't? And coming from medium format mostly, then starting with 35, then trying different things in 35, getting into large format midway somewhere there. I still love large format, but I find that 35 and the Leica M2 really doesn't get in the way of shooting my way. So this is the last one I would get rid of if I ever had to. Let me see your answers. Jacob says the X-Band. I had it, just couldn't get grips with it. I loved using it, but then I never used it because it was so special. Lazen says Canon EOS 1V. I still wanted to test that out. Andrew, RZ67. That would be my camera to keep if I had to be medium format. Favorite by far. PJ de Jesus, my RB6 something is something I would never get rid of. PJ, your RB is your signature camera. I think I've seen more selfies with it than anyone else, so I would expect you to keep it. Johanna says Mamiya RB2. Nice to see. Jacob says Mamiya 6. I also have the 6. Got rid of it. I would love to get it back, but yeah, it's okay for now. Michael says, I would never get rid of my Nikon F100. That's a great camera. Layton says, although would I ever sell my Leicas? Probably not. I mean, it's not that you have to sell, but if you had to choose a camera that you would just keep one camera, you know, to me it would be the Leica M2 and a 35. Neo Q, Nickermat FT2, Markelec 6, Mamiya 6. Jacob says, thumbs up to that, probably. B. Bayer says, mine's Pentax 6x7. Love it with all my heart. I love my 6.7 too. It's jammed twice, and that's made me not love it so much. Marca Lexi says, I do love my RZ too. That's the same thing with me. This would be first. The RZ would be second. Hala says, Rolleicord 5, my first TLR. I shoot with this a lot more than the Hasselblad. I dropped and put it together many times, still going strong and not dumbing it. Yeah, that's a good. I've never had a Rolleicord in my hands. I have had Rolleiflexes, but they've never played well with me, so I got rid of them. Blur 101 says, good evening, Nico and all. The most handy camera would be either my M6 or Rollei 35S, which is even more portable for climbing. Yeah, that's extremely small camera. Andrew says, I've never owned a Leica though. I never thought I would own a Leica. It was something that a friend of mine insisted I had to have. And after a while, he put one in front of me basically for a price I couldn't say no to. And I got it. It had no lens. So my friend who insisted so much gave me a loan on Voigtlander Color Scope R 50 2.5. And the moment I got the camera, I was like, okay, well, what's the fuss about? And I grabbed it and I started kind of like playing, and just the weight to hand ratio, the knobs, the wheels, the gears, everything just started feeling really good, in sense of like it's a well-built camera, feels just exactly how it should feel. And the moment I started shooting, it was so much fun. There was nothing on the viewfinder, just the frame line, only one frame lines, not a ton of them. And it was really fun to shoot, and that just became something I became addicted. And for probably like 2 or 3 years, it's all I shot. So, and I was shooting medium format back and forth. So if you guys don't own a Leica, I recommend you start one day or test it one day, but give it more than one roll. Shoot a bit, and then, you know, decide. But I do think there has to do a lot with which Leica you pick. Because if I would have picked the first camera to be a Leica M6, I would have probably never kept it because I never liked it. I had one, I sold it. I have another one now, which is not mine, and I don't use it. I just don't like that camera. I don't play well with it. So yeah, the M2 was for me. Robert, hello from Tucson, Arizona. Nice to see you. Robert, welcome from Spain, or hi from Spain. B Bayer says, I also have a Nikon F3, which is great, easy to shoot with. Yeah, the F3 is a great camera. Andrew says, I had the same experience. I picked up a Leica for the first time last year at a store, and it made so much more sense to me. Great feeling camera. Yeah, before that, I was really not one of those people that understood what the hype was. And the hype is more than the, more than the results or anything like that. It's the feel. Like, I really enjoy the feel of using it. I've said it before, if I ever run out of film, I might just take it out with no film and just have fun with it, rather than shoot a digital camera, which is not exactly my favorite thing to do. Michael says, and if I had to choose a film to shoot for the rest of my life, it would be Tri-X for sure. God, I love that thing. I used to be a Tri-X a little bit, but then I just started shooting large format, and it was not affordable in any way, so I moved away from that, sadly. Andrew says, I have an Olympus 35 SP, which is like 1/8 of the price. No, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's the only camera you should have. It's just a fun camera to own. If you guys ever come to Spain, my treat on using any of my Leica cameras if you want, happily. Pedro, like someone told me the other day, mi casa, tu casa. So yeah, basically. Pedro, nice to see you. Blur, aha, my first Leica rangefinder was an M3, which I'd still prefer, except that I found a 35 lens to be so usable, and the M3 has no 35 frame, of course. Yeah, 35 is my lens to go to. Lady says, Leica ergonomics are second to none. They feel so good to use. True, very true. For those who haven't tested other cameras, some cameras are just, not saying that they'll have to be Leica, but some cameras are just so in the way of your shooting style. One camera that I found annoying in a certain way, for example, the Hasselblad SWC, when you advanced, would hit the strap. The other day I used the Horseman 6x12 and the bubble. There's certain things that sometimes you wish had been thought out a bit more, but the M2, M3 to me feel really good. Mark Alexis, where are you? It's Spain again. What major city? Well, the biggest city close to me is Bilbao. And if you don't know where Bilbao is, it's basically the coast, the north of Spain, close to the border with France. So San Sebastian is very close. It's an hour away. I'm more like 4 hours away from Madrid, 6 hours away from Barcelona. But yeah, I'm like in the middle on the coast. The ocean's just here, so it's a beach kind of sort of town. And don't imagine any beach like you can imagine beachy. It's very rainy and gray most of the year. Someone else was saying the other day I complain about the weather a lot, but yeah, the weather here is pretty horrible. But when it is sunny, it's very green, which is very nice. Mark Alexis says, okay, the farthest I've been in Madrid. I think the most south I've gone in Spain has been Madrid. So I'm not a big, haven't done a lot of tourism around Spain, sadly. Michael says, off-topic question. Which football team do you support in Spain? Michael, I would say none. I'm really not a sports person. I don't even own a TV channels, so I don't watch TV. So no sports for me. But if I had to choose someone, of course, it would be local. So Bilbao, Athletic Bilbao would be the team because I'm local to this town. But not a big problem. I'm not a sports guy. Basketball, soccer, any of that, don't care for it. Actually, a bunch of professional soccer players are parents at the school my kids go in, and I never know who's who. So that makes it a little awkward. Blur says, in 1985, I cycled from Bilbao, the boat from UK, to Barcelona, then home. Very nice trip. Yeah, exactly. Where the boat arrives is basically where I live. So you must have, bicycled around my house, because I was born in 82 and I lived in the coast just looking out the boats. So you must have been in front of my house. Blur says, I'm more or less followed the Ebro from Pico de Europa eastwards. That's nice. Leighton says, I live in Scotland, so I know what you mean about weather and gray. Yeah, it's a lot of people imagine Spain and always think sun. Sadly, it's not always like that. House says, how heavy the Hasselblad 500 ELM with a 150 C lens. Both my arms hurt from using it nonstop in the past few days. How heavy it is. I would have to look how heavy the body is. Hasselblad 500 EL. Because I've never weighed the camera, but it's heavy. It's fine with that. Oh, heavy, heavy, heavy. Doesn't say here how heavy. I wish it had weight. I mean, the batteries are heavy. Body weight. Body without batteries, 1 kilo 0.4. So 1,424 grams without batteries. Lens 922. So probably around 2.5 kilos with batteries and the 150. It's a heavy camera. It's probably close to the Mamiya RZ in weight. Pedro, how was the surf shot? Pedro, it went really well. I screwed up I got light leaks on the two most important shots, but I'm still happy with the results. And I will be posting them and doing prints of them. So there'll be more, but it went really well. I did get sunburnt, if you guys can't tell. I'm suddenly not white like the wall, and I got a little bit of color, which was good. B. Bayer says, just wanted to say thank you as I've watched all your videos. So much great stuff, amazing knowledge, best from London. Thanks, Bayek. I would love to go visit London soon. I'm trying to do a trip to London, but so far nothing. And thanks for watching all my videos. Not all are very interesting sometimes, and some of my older stuff is pretty bad, but I'm still proud of everything I've done. It's a learning process making videos, and it's been way tougher than I thought. Michael says, he's laughing, no soccer for me, sorry. Hey Green, for your information, a lot of local Walmarts are doing sellouts on the Fuji stocks. Yeah, they're changing, I think, the catalog. They're going for the 24 exposures to the 36 exposures. So they're probably doing sales. So that's good to know. So anyone that's close to Walmart, you can buy Fuji stock. Blur says, is Scotland that place with a sunny F8 rule? Yeah, I live in the sunny F8 too. Leighton says, must weigh 2.5 kilos. That's about it. Blur, no, it's the f2.8 and the water spots on the lens. Yeah, that's how I shoot. That's why I push my film to 1600. It's the light. There's never light. Robert says, I've always been a Pentax K1000 fan. Actually, I saw my first Pentax K1000 on Saturday. Everyone at the surf competition was using film cameras, which was very interesting. To shoot pictures. Most people shooting surf were shooting digital, but people shooting or walking around with cameras had film cameras. I saw Mamiya 7, Rolleiflex, Land camera, a bunch of MJUs or Epic, Stylus Epic. I saw Leica cameras. I met Ray Barbie, which is a skateboarder that I've always been a huge fan of, and took his portrait, which was really fun. And I even let him look through the camera. I should have let him take a shot. But yeah, lots of film cameras in that scene, which was very fun to see. But lots of point and shoots. I saw, I think, a few contacts G2s, and Canon AE1 too, I saw around there. But yeah, it's nice to see that, you know, even if it's only in that scene, film cameras are still something that is seen a lot. So I have to go to more surf things to be, you know, feel at home, because everywhere I go, I never see film cameras. But yeah, guys, we've got 5 more minutes. If there's anything else you feel like discussing before we hang up, let me know. Andrew says, these skater photographers are my idols. Jason Lee at Templeton, Ray Barbie. I started photography because of skateboarding. Exactly like me, Andrew. I started photography thanks to skateboarding. I used to be like all into it. I knew all the magazines back and forth. I even wrote in a magazine here in Spain. I interviewed this guy that was, I think he was Japanese, at least his descendant from Japanese, that was a vert skateboarder in San Sebastian, and a few other people. And I'm actually going to be shooting a skateboarding event for myself in a month or so. And Rune Glifberg and Tommy Guerrero are going to be here, so I'm super pumped. And I hope to take large format camera and shoot some portraits there, and even some skateboarding shots, which is going to be a challenge. But I like trying things that are not easy to do. So yeah, Michael says, hey Nico, are you into this new Fuji Instax square format, or you're going to stick with a wide? I only have a wide camera, and basically, I don't see myself investing on any other Fuji Instax. The only one I'm tempted about is the Instacon, but I'm so scared that Fuji might pull the plug from the wide, because they're really pushing the mini and the square, that I don't know if I would put down the money for the Instacon. And I know you can probably use the Instacon with the normal square and the mini, but I don't know. I'm going to stick with what I have. I barely shoot Instax. Not because I don't like it, it's just it's like €1 a shot, €1. So each shot is half a sheet of 8x10, and I rather shoot 8x10. So that's why I'm not going to do much Instax. I rather shoot large format. And I know it's a totally different concept, but I like shooting large format much better, and I rather put my money there. Andrea says, Andrew, watch some photos of Brian Gaberman. That name sounds familiar. I'm terrible at names. Gaberman pictures. I'm sure I've seen his work. Looks interesting. Yeah, skateboarding is where I'm at. I love skateboarding, so that's something that gets me still triggered to this day. Pedro Cardoso says, I have a new camera to shoot surf friends in the water, Canon EOS 500N. Will be super nice to shoot film in the water. I've got a Niconos, and I developed the other day, and it was amazing to see. But yeah, guys, I'm going to be leaving. It's 10 o'clock here in Spain, and I got to prep my trip for tomorrow. No, for Friday. But check out on Instagram. I'll be posting behind the shots or behind the scenes of shooting 8x10 like crazy at Barcelona. So yeah, thanks for joining me on the live stream. Michael, gotta go. Thanks for the live stream again. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining me again another week here. And see you next week. I posted the news just before, so go check it out if you feel like it. And I'll be having more videos next week. I have a bunch to edit, but I haven't had a lot of time. So yeah, guys, good night, and we'll talk soon. Thanks for the good luck on the 8x10. See you there. Bye.